This is the story about the mines in the town of Anyox, British Columbia. This old town and mine sits on the west coast of British Columbia, about 70 miles east of Ketchikan, Alaska. It was in the late 1800s that three prospectors, Collison, Fluin, and Robinson, were out prospecting when they set up camp on what would become Granby Bay. Reports of an El Dorado mountain of gold told by local natives turned out to be a huge copper deposit. This deposit was located in a place called Observatory Inlet on the west coast of British Columbia. Observatory Inlet is about 35 miles south and west of Stewart, BC, and about 30 or so miles north of Prince Rupert along the Canada and U.S. border. Not long after this deposit was found, a mine went into production along with a smelter owned by the Granby Consolidated Mining and Smelting Company. It wasn't long before a town was built to house the workers and their families. This is the same company that owned and ran the mine in Phoenix, BC, and had a smelter in Grand Forks. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link below and also at the end of this video. By 1914, the population of Anyox had grown to over 2,000 people, and by the peak in the early 1920s, population had reached 3,000. Now you need to realize that there were no roads getting into this area. The town was located in very rugged West Coast country, so the only way to get here was by boat. One would think that this would have been a very outdated rustic town, but it was quite the opposite. This was a town that had a 40-plus room hotel with a telephone in every room plus an 18-bed hospital. Remember, this is back in the early 1920s. An old article once stated, "Every home in Anyox had electric lights, just as we all had hot and cold running water and flush toilets, which many Canadians in larger and more favored communities could not claim at that time." To give you an idea of why this town was built and what ran this town, all one needed to do was look at the mine and smelter operation itself. During its years of operation, the Granby's Anyox operation was one of the largest in the world. Copper ore was mined and smelted and shipped out on steamships. This mine had over 6 miles of railways on 2 different lines. A total of 75 ore cars and 2 locomotives moved over 6,000 tons of ore every day. All the power was generated by a coal-fired steam plant and a hydro dam. The large hydro dam for the power plant was a modern marvel in its day. It was designed and built by John Eastwood. This dam was 156 feet high, and for many years it was the tallest dam in all of Canada. Julie Domville, who wrote for the Canadian Journal, stated, 2 electrical generating powerhouses were built, one coal-fired and the other hydroelectric, to operate the mine, mill, and smelter complex. The harbor where boats were loaded could hold 4 large steamships at any one time. By 1935, the boom had gone bust. It might have been brought on by a miners' strike a few years earlier. Being a company town, people were forced to leave, and having only boat travel as a way out, a lot of personal items were left behind. In 1943, a huge forest fire went through and burned the town to the ground. Today, only the concrete foundations and the powerhouse and the smelter stack remain. The hydro dam still stands also. During its life, the mine and smelter produced over 21 million tons of copper ore between 1914 and 1935. This in turn produced around 321,000 tons of copper, 206,000 ounces of silver, and 121,000 ounces of gold. Well, folks, that about wraps up this week's video. I hope you enjoyed this short story about the old town and mine of Anyox. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more old lost mine stories.